There's a second Maimer that the Rebbe said at the Verbrengen of Yud Shvat, Maimer Kein Sicher, which means that it is essentially a Maimer but not said in the format, the tone, the Nigun, the Holachona as a Maimer. The melody, the tone used is more tone of a Sicher, but it's a Maimer. And in the later years, most of the Mamorim were that, Maimer Kein Sicher, at the Shabbos Verbrengens.
Maimer just in the sense of the content is the content.
Starts off with the Pasuk and it's pure Chassidus, a Maimer. And you wouldn't know if you learned it. It's just like, not like the classic Sicher. Why? We don't know. Less than or more than? More than, less than, Maimer. More than, on the contrary, it's brought down in a Nueva Sicher. Okay, let's begin. So the Mishnah says in Pirkei Yofeh, everybody has it, yeah? Yofeh, second Maimer, Yud Shvat Maimer, based of Sho'oh Gimel. So the Mishnah says, Yofeh Achas b'tshuva ma'asim tovim be'olam hazeh mikol chai olam haba. Literally, more beautiful is one moment of tshuva and good deeds in this world and all of the life of the world to come. So it's explained with respect to this in the Maimer of the Alter Rebbe. Footnote 2, Be'emtza Maimer, it's in the middle of the Maimer. Beketer Kotzer Bal Shuris Svuros, in a small paragraph with only a few lines. Shemaschel Bascholas Shura, which begins with this line. Bekolze Yuven Yose Hatam, with everything we said till now in that Maimer, we'll understand the reason for Yofeh Achas. At this point, in Tafshin Chal Gimel 1963, this Maimer had not been published. It was published subsequently later. Or maybe not even. No, looks like it's still in. No, it was, yeah. It was published later in Teres Chaim of the Mittel Rebbe. Okay, so back to the Maimer. So it says the Alter Rebbe, what's the reason? This is an astounding statement. Why is it that one moment of tshuva in this world is greater than all chai olam haba? First of all, is that not the whole point of Torah mitzvahs, is to earn olam haba? The pasuk says, Ki beka Hashem tzur elamim, which is in its translation is Ki, because, beka, literally it's God, or in God. One of the pshatim in the pasuk is you'll find refuge. You'll find refuge, ki beka, in God, Hashem, the Lord, tzur elamim, the one who forms the worlds. That's the pashat, the pshat. But the Gemara says even more literal, ki beka, with yud hey, tzur elamim, Hashem formed the worlds, plural. The Gemara continues with Yud Elam Haba and with Hey Elam Hazeh. That's the meaning. Ki beka Hashem pasuk until him tzur elamim. So that's what the Alter Rebbe is saying here. That Elam Haba is from the Yud of Yud K. Aval Eirin Sav Ba'atzmai. So that's what Yud, of course, is Chachma. That's already the first Svira. But the Eirins of himself, Kodesh and Muvdul, Gam Asiyos, Plios, Chachma. The Eirins of itself is Kodesh. The word Kodesh means holy, but it means removed. Muvdul, removed, even from making the wondrous Chachma. Chachma is a wondrous level, and a Medidikre Darge. But Eirins of is removed and beyond, even from Chachma. So that's what the mission is therefore saying. And through Maisim Tovim, here's where he draws and connects to his essential holiness, higher than Olam Haba, which is derived or an expression of or rooted in the Yud of Shem Yudke. Therefore, Sho'oh Maisim Tovim is greater, more beautiful than all the life of Olam Haba, Lefi Shehem, because Torah and mitzvahs Maisim Tovim are Shorashim or Mukiriyim, rooted and sourced. They are the root of the source, rather. The root and the source of Chai Olam Haba, which is only Nimshach Min HaYud, like the Ein Sof is the root, the source of the Yud, Chachma. So too, Torah mitzvahs or Sho'oh Maisim Tovim draw on that letter, which is the source of the Yud. No eye has seen it. No, only God alone, says the pasuk. This is a completely transcendent level beyond the Ishtalshalos. So, in other words, Olam Haba is part of Ishtalshalos, a very lofty level, true. But Sho'oh Maisim Tovim draws on higher than Ishtalshalos, higher than the Yud. The place from where the Yud, the source of the Yud. Clear? As the Rebbe elaborates now. So this is L'chora V'dal. V'dai L'mevi means this is sufficient L'mevin to the discerning person. Now comes the Rebbe's beer. This which the Alter Rebbe says that the whole life, the revelation in Olam Haba is the Yud of Yudke. So what's the source of that? I just shared it with that. This is based on the statement of Chazal in Masechta Menachos on the pasuk B'Kah Hashem Tzurei Lomim, says the Gemara, B'Yud Nivra Olam Haba. With the letter Yud, Hashem created Olam Haba. Ubehei Nivra Olam Hazeh. It's explaining Chassidus, of course, that Yud is bittul. So Olam Haba is where godliness is revealed and all is nullified to him. And Hey is already physically a letter that has dimensions, upper and lower and inside, and the bottom is open. So that is Olam Hazeh. The Gemara goes into more detail that, if I'm not mistaken, there the Gemara says that the Hey is open at the bottom. That's the idea that through sin a person falls into Gehenna, and it's open at the top, but through tshuva one can get out. That's the Hey. So at any rate, the Mizem Uven Shechai Olam Haba Nimshachim Ba'yisut Hashem Havaya. So we see that Olam Haba is what's the drawn from the letter Yud of Shem Havaya. Aval Mavur Shetshuva Maisim Tovim L'mayla Mizeh. But it's explained, yeah, clear? It's explained that Tshuva Maisim Tovim is higher. As in the words of the Alter Rebbe, Shal Yodam Nimshach Kedushas Atzmusay. That through Torah mitzvahs, a Jew draws down his essential holiness. The Rebbe asks, it's not understood. What's the question? Shem Havaya is the highest of all of the 10 names. He brings in brackets, what are the names? Es Hashem Esakdoshim, 10 holy names. Shiva Shemes She'ein Nimchakim, or the 7 names, which in halacha, once written, cannot be erased. So I looked it up and I'll tell you what the 10 names are. So the Zohar, it's not so posh here, but the Zohar says as follows, you can count. So the first name is Yud-Kei Vav-Kei. The second Elokim. The third name, Kale. The fourth name, the fourth name is Elokim. So the first is Yud-Kei Vav-Kei, but different ways that it is the Nukudis. The Nukudis. So he says over here, there's different ways to spell Yud-Kei Vav-Kei as well. Here it means Yud-Kei Vav-Kei spelled with the milui of Yud, right? Hey can be spelled different ways. For example, Hey Yud, Hey Aleph, Hey Hey. So when you spell Yud-Kei Vav-Kei with the Yud, that's the highest name. The second one is Havaya. Here the Nikud is with Bina. Here's a different Nikud, a different vocalization. So two, Havaya, the first one is Chochma, the second one is Bina. The third is Kale. The fourth is Elikim. The fifth is another Yud-Kei Vav-Kei, which is another Miloi, which yields Tiferes.
The order is the levels of the names?
Yeah, the order is levels of the names, yeah. And Tiferes includes in the Netzach V'Hoid. Where we up to here, the seventh, with the sixth, we said the sixth, we said the fifth. Yud-Kei Vav-Kei, the sixth and seventh is also Yud-Kei Vav-Kei in a different Milui, it's all different Miluyim. The eighth is Kel Chai, the ninth is Adnai, and the 10th is Eke. Eke Asher Eke. That's how it is in the Zohar. Classically, the seven names, it's also Machlek, it's what the seven names are, the ones written. But classically, it's Havaya, Adnai, Kel, Elikim, Elika, Tzvokos, Shin Daled Yud. That's the classic seven names, Shein Nimchokim. This is in brackets here. But anyway, the conclusion is that Shem Havaya is the highest of all of them, and moreover, Benikra Shem Ha'etzem, it's called the essential name of Hashem, who refers to Shem Havaya that way. Look at notice 7, the Kesef Mishtan, the Rambam, Hichas Avodah Zarah. It's also called Shem HaMefurish, that we find that in Gemara Saita, the explicit name. It's also called Shem HaMeyuched, also in Gemara Saita, the unique name. So this is the essential, explicit, and unique name of the Eibishter. How is it possible? That tshuva, or befrat ma'asim tovim, and especially actions. Mainly tshuva is in the heart, so that's neshama. But poshet ma'asim tovim yilam ma'ile yosim shem havaya. How could this be high the shem havaya? L'mayla gam ois yud, high even in the letter yud, shia ois harishayne the shem havaya. Right, a simple classic question, yeah? In summary, Shem Havaya is the highest and holiest name of Hashem, whether we speak of the 10 or the 7, it's the Shem HaEtzem, Shem HaMefurish, Shem HaMeyuched, so holy we may not even pronounce it as it's written. And how is it possible that through Ma'asim Tovim we connect to higher than Shem Havaya? But Yuvin must be understood Bakadoma, by first prefacing is connected to our parasha friends. Everybody likes to learn something that's current, the daily news. So the daily news, which is today and tomorrow, as I said, as a dibris, tomorrow's mamash said as a dibris. Mashaschol the matan Torah, which said as a dibris. So we understood by prefacing at the beginning of matan Torah, which is Neser as a dibris, is what's the word Anoichi Havaya Likecha. I am Havaya Likecha. Behind what do we see here? Shaschol ein b'shem Havaya. The Eibishter does not begin as a dibris with the Shem Havaya. but rather lebetevas anoichi, but the word anoichi shekidemes ulemaylev shemavaya, which precedes and is higher than shemavaya. What does anoichi convey? This is from the Zohar. Anoichi misha anoichi I that I am. The la yisram is b'shum os v'koitza. That cannot be hinted to or conveyed in any letter or even a stroke of a letter. That's the crowns on the letters. Chulu. So what is it? So this is what Eibush is giving in Torah. So what is this level of Torah? This is the ikir and the pnimius and the essence of Torah. That is beyond all division or articulation or differentiation. The Rebbe goes on to explain, like we find in the Zohar, that we quote this in the Meine Loshen, in the Ishtatchus on the Tzion, ubefrat b'yom ha'ilula. And especially on the Yom ha'ilula, when we say this, the Rebbe is referring to Yud Shvat. So what's the story? Let me read the story in the Zohar to you. The Zohar says like this. The Zohar relates a story. It's a ganze Meise there, that the dead appeared to the Chachamim, a dead person, and Rabbi Chizkiah said to the kever, to the one that, as it were, emerged from the grave, who are you? What are you? So he said, I'm dead, and I have been aroused because of a Sefer Torah. I'll just read the story as it is. For once, the world, there was a time when the world was Yoshev B'tzar, was in the and it was a sorrowful state. And the living came here to arouse mercies with the Sefer Torah. To us, looks like they were their ancestors. So I and my colleagues, I'm translating here. So we went to wake up those that are sleeping in Hebron. It was to be Me'ored, Rachamim, by the others. So we entered Gan Eden and we connected to the Ruchis, the spirits of the Tzaddikim. And we kind of brought with us, it's all very mystical, you guys, and the Sefer Torah that you brought. And the Sefer Torah that you brought was possible. And you are lying in the name of the king. The Yofeh is the Melech, and here you're bringing his word, and it's a lie. What was the psul? The psul was that there was an extra vav in the pasuk of Shisas Shesa Shtei Parsois, that a kosher animal has to be split hooves. So the word Shisas, split, is spelled in the Torah Chassid. Chassid meaning between the Shin and the Samach, there's no vav. Usually, mole means when you have a cholam, there's a vav, and Chassid means lacking, there's no vav. Now, the way it's spelled, there's no vav, but in the Sefer Torah, there was a vav. And they said, the response was of the tzaddikim in Gan Eden that since you lied in the name of the king, they're not responding. Your tefillahs are not accepted. And they cast us out, me and my chavedim, I guess the parents, from the yeshiva, from the heavenly yeshiva. That's the ma'aseh there. And then they brought another Sefer Torah and the whole hemshech story. What do we see from the? Let's go back to the Maimer. So, like we find, what the Rabbi is saying now, that the whole Torah is higher than Ischalkos, higher than particular pratim. It's as he's going to elaborate in a moment, the whole Torah is an etzem echad poshet. It's one truth. So, like it says in the Ahu Sefer Torah, like about that Sefer Torah, that the apostle, it was possible al dishtachach vav yatir bahukra the shishas shes shtei parsois, because it was possible, because they found in this pasuk and there was a vav after the shin. Now the Rabbi adds, Moiridik thing, even though al pidin al pinigle kosher loy meshezeh chsarim shepoisil es Sefer Torah. It's difficult to say that this is a psul, that apostles the Sefer Torah, and he sends us to the Shulchan Aruch. Ha'ara 14, I read what it says in Shulchan Aruch. Shulchan Aruch, he brings like this. If a Torah, a mistake is found in the Sefer Torah while it's being read, you take out another Sefer Torah, and you start from the place of the mistake, and you continue reading from there. And you continue reading from the second Sefer Torah, and you make a bracha. Now the Ramah, that's the Sefer Shulchan Aruch. The Ramah says as follows. It brings many days. He says, this which you take out another Sefer Torah, it's an absolute error. The word is written that conveys a different meaning, or is missing a word, or what have you. But mishum chsedes v'yisedes, but if the chsaron is that there's a vav where it shouldn't be, or there isn't a vav where it should be, he said we don't take out another Sefer Torah, because there's no guarantee that the next Sefer Torah is going to be more meduyik. Our Sefer Torah and generally are not so meduyik. Others hold you do, but there are more paskins you don't.
Also, if you don't have another one, you can continue.
And so even have another one. So you have another one. There's no guarantee the other one, if that's the whole chsaron, since it didn't change the meaning, and it's only this subtle missing a vav where it shouldn't be, or adding a vav where it should not be, so therefore it's still kosher. There are more paskins you continue to learn, to read from it. And here the Zohar says what? A terrible story. They were cast out of Gan Eden, the tefillos weren't answered, they had to bring another Sefer Torah, a ganze hemshech. So let's insert the square brackets again. That because of the vav in the word sheisas, they should pass it as we just read to you from Shulchan Aruch, especially since it doesn't change the meaning and the pirush with the vav, without a vav. So why is the Zohar saying this? Because the Zohar is pnimius haTorah, and the Zohar is bringing out the way Torah is bepnimius, and that is shezeh mitzad inyan apnimi v'atzmi shebeTorah. When you get to the essence of Torah, sheba ein chiluk bein ois achas lechaverta, there every letter conveys the etzem equally. Mitzad nikla, there's a cheshbon. It's significant, it's not significant, doesn't change the meaning, or does change the meaning. And if it doesn't change the meaning, no, it's not so significant, and we can continue learning. That's mitzad the tziyur. That's mitzad the manifested form and revelation. Poshet. In all areas of Torah, there are some mitzvahs, some avedas that carry no penalty. Sin that there's shame by Maisa, there's no malchus, there's no nothing. Then there's a Loisa said that there's malchus, and then there's other transgressions that carry the death penalty. Within the death penalty itself, there's what? All different levels of severity. That's mitzad what? Mitzad the chitzonius. What does it mean? Just explain that. What does it mean the chitzayin is? In terms of the measurable effect, there's a difference. In terms of the measurable pgam on the world and on you, there's a difference. The size of the blemish, the depth of the blemish. Likewise here, in the halacha, in terms of the measurable, what's the problem here? It's missing it's still the same word, so it has an extra vav, doesn't change the meaning. It's just fully spelled out. Lo mishaneh. So from that perspective, it's okay. In this case, and likewise, some averas are more significant, some are less significant. And there's the Reis and the Rabbanon, etc. But in terms of be'etzem, this is all the rods and amelach. There's no difference. There's no difference. So, in other words, the king asks you, bring him a glass of water, or go fight the battle. In terms of what you're doing, affecting the welfare of the state. You didn't bring the water, nothing, not affected. You didn't carry out some other commandment. You take this letter to another, whatever, and you didn't do it. It's the whole, the damage is perceptibly, drastically different. But in terms of the melech asked you didn't do it, it's not different. In terms of the melech's investure, there's no difference. That's why in front of the king, no matter what he asks, and here it's the raw relationship in front of the melech, even Al Pidin, if you're in the presence of the king and you have a little conversation with somebody else, what did you do? What did you do? Man, the mocha coming malki, you go make a wink in front of someone, in front of the king. You just, we'll see you later. Chayv is in presence of the king. Is he your melech or is he not your melech? If he's your melech, there's no room for anything else. It's irrelevant what it was. It's absolute, exclusive, and absolute. Likewise, the Nukudi here, that mitzad, the etzem of Torah, the Eibishter is invested in every detail completely, not more in one prat and what less in another prat. And all of it is one etzem echad pasha. And that the Zohar brings out. Therefore, if the vav was added, the whole thing is meshake b'shem hamelach, like the Zohar said. Continuing in the words of the Maamar, shezel mitzad ha'inyan apnimi. Yeah. Again, this is because of the pnim is the atm is the inyan of Shabbatayra sheboy ein chilik b'nei is achas lechavrata. There's no difference between one letter or another. Given shekol lois is yachtav heim ois achas gedola. Be'emes, all of the letters are all rooted in one great letter. They all extend from it. The aleph is in italics there. They all extend and emerge. Mamash, we're learning in Tanya too now. Right? You heard from the Eibishter, it's all of Torah mitzvahs are included in the first two dibros, and Bepnimis in the first one, and Bepnimis in the first letter of the first one, the aleph. The Rebbe continues, we find in Tisefta, which is halachas. And so the Gemara says, the Tisefta there brings, look it up, but there's two opinions there. It's talking there about that when you ask two people ask a question, they're asking halacha. So if one is asking about the subject matter that is being taught, the other is asking Sho'oh Inyan, then the one who is asking about the subject matter being taught right now that's relevant, he's answered first, and the other one is answered later. There's a whole hierarchy in how you respond to questions and how you ask the questions. Rabbi Meir there says, if I'm not mistaken, that if a person's coming to ask the Chachamim not on the subject at hand, he has to introduce it and saying, I'm asking Sho'oh Inyan. This is not what you're learning now, but I have a question. The Chachamim says doesn't have to say that. You have to preface Sho'oh Inyan. Why? Because all the Torah is in Echad. Even if they're learning, they're espousing, they're teaching now something else. That's the subject matter at hand. And a person has another question. There's no such thing as Sho'oh Inyan, because the whole Torah, Bepnimius, is one Nekuda Likus Anoich. Clear? So this is conveyed in this Tisefta. Yeah, we're clear. That the Chachamim say think it's the Chacham. Shekol HaTorah Kula Inyan Echad. We doesn't have to preface it by saying this is another subject. There is no other subject to what you're learning. It's all one. Hainu, meaning to say that it spells it out. Even though the Torah is divided into 6 orders, the Mishnah divided into 6 orders. But Prati is Yosin in more detail. Shishim, this is Pasuk and Shir Hashirim. 60 queens and 80 concubines and young maidens without end. So what's the remes here? So the 60 queens, Shishim Malchos Ela Masechta, that's the 60 Masechtas. Ushmeinim Pilakshim and the 80 Pilakshim, Ela Braises, that's the Braises. Valomas in Mispar and young maidens without end, Ela Halachas, that's the Halachas. So on the one hand, there's this tremendous division of subject matter and divisions and pratim. Because Mokim Akel who Inyan Echad, it's all one Inyan. Why Kivin Shizeo Ikiro Pnimis Ve'etzem HaTorah? Because the one Inyan expresses the Pnimis and the essence of Torah. It's one Eibishter, friends. You know, science is, that's why science is convinced and is searching for the one theory that will unify everything. Why should it be one theory? Because the emes is everything, even Welt, comes from one Eibishter, and therefore that oneness has its signature and is the source of everything, despite the multiplicity and of creation. It's even in creation. But in Torah, it's Begoloi. And where do you see that Begoloi? In the Rebbe's Torah. It's in the Rebbe in the H'tשכ that we see this. Before the h'tשכ, Pshad, Remet, Drush, and Sod, on the same subject, and they're parallel universes. But as we all know, in the Rashi Sikha, there's a Bir Api Pnimius in the Drush, and they're all connected and fused because he reveals in everything the Etzem, the Nakud, the Atzmi of that Inyan. As we learned in the famous Meida'ani, the Rebbe demonstrates that in that landmark Sikha. The 4 levels of Meida'ani reveals the Etzem and then fuses and connects and illuminates all of the 4 levels of Meida'ani. Pshat, Remet, Drush, and Sod. Okay, to be continued tomorrow.